there, welcome back to the channel. You are not going to want to miss today's video if you are in the market for a home in Northern Virginia right now. I am sharing insider tips on how to be successful in the current market. It is brutal out there for buyers right now. There simply is not enough supply to keep up with demand. Bidding wars are back in a big way, and you need to be extra prepared in order to be successful purchasing a home in Northern Virginia right now. If you're new here, I'm Amanda Davidson, a local real estate broker here in Northern Virginia, and this channel is all about living, eating, sleeping, working, and playing in Northern Virginia. If that's something you're interested in, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I release a new video every week, and you're not going to want to miss it. All right, first up is avoid making a lowball offer. And this is something that I see buyers want to do frequently, and it simply does not fly in this market. Let's talk about first if you are in a situation where you're competing, because that's very likely to happen right now. If you are competing against other offers, you already know you need to put your best foot forward. And the reason for that is in most cases, when there are multiple offers and it's a property that buyers are really interested in, there's going to be an offer deadline, and you may not get another chance to improve your offer, number one. And number two, if you are competing against other buyers, let's say the house is priced at $850,000 and you come in at $800,000 and the seller is reviewing offers, they're going to think a couple things. First off, that you're not serious, because when you know you're competing and you're offering below list price and it's insultingly low, they're not going to take you seriously. And then the second reason not to make a lowball offer is what I just mentioned. It's insulting to the sellers. And whether it's right or wrong that they are emotional about selling their home doesn't really matter, because when you are competing, you need to understand that the list price is pretty much the opening bid, and that's how you should be looking at the market right now. Now, let's say you're in a situation where you aren't competing, but perhaps the house hasn't been on the market for very long, and quite frankly, even if it has been on for say a couple months, unless it's a unique situation, you are still going to cause the sellers to be insulted if you are offering way below list price. And I'm talking like $50,000 below list price. Let's use that same example. They're not going to take you serious. They're going to think that you have no clue what's going on in the market right now, and they're likely going to think that you're going to be difficult to work with. Lowball offers really are never a good idea in any market, and they are just a complete hard pass in the current seller's market that we're in. Next up is shopping below what you ultimately want to spend. So let's say that you are pre-approved for $800,000 and you are comfortable spending that $800,000. You are going to want to look at homes that are priced below that. And that's because of the current market we're in. Because of all the competition and multiple offers coming in on the same property, you need to leave yourself room to be able to then bid up, whether that is in the form of making an offer that's higher than list, or putting in an escalation addendum, or maybe a combination of the two. You don't want to be looking at homes that are already at the max of what you're going to want to spend, knowing that then there's going to be competition and you're never going to be able to make a competitive offer. It will get really old really quickly if you continue to lose out on properties because you're not able to bid above the list price. Next is be smart about your contingencies. And again, no matter what the market is doing, typically the offer with the highest price combined with the fewest amount of contingencies is going to win. And in this market that we are in, we are back to seeing offers that have absolutely no contingencies. Now, you always have to do what you're comfortable with, number one, and two, what is still safe for you. So if you cannot safely waive your appraisal contingency, of course, don't do that. But make as clean of an offer as you possibly can. So a couple ways to do that are considering if the sellers are allowing pre-offer home inspections. Yes, you will be out the money from the home inspection, but it still gives you a lot more information to possibly confidently waive the home inspection altogether in order to be competitive. Again, I cannot emphasize enough, you have to do what you are comfortable with and what you're still able to do financially. Financing contingencies. This is a big one, and I don't understand why buyers do not go ahead and get what's called TBD approved. The TBD is the property. You can work with a lender who can take your loan all the way through underwriting so that the only variable and spot left to fill in is you actually finding a property. That way, you can not only safely but also have the peace of mind to remove the financing contingency altogether because you know your loan has already been underwritten. There are quite a few ways to be able to tighten up your offer. It's not just about price. Contingencies play a big factor, and depending on the amount of competition a property has, you may or may not see that there are offers, not see, but find out that there are offers that were completely contingency free. It is common again in this market. I had one over the weekend. The property had 11 offers. 6 of them were completely contingency free and anywhere from 10 to 15% above list price. So be prepared that if you are competing, you need to be ready and have a general idea of what contingencies you absolutely have to have, cannot do without, whatever the reason is, and what contingencies you feel comfortable and can safely waive. Next is, do not try to make an offer without a buyer's agent. Every buyer needs representation, and there is a misconception out there with a lot of buyers that by going to the listing agent, they're going to get a better deal, and that could not be further from the truth. A lot of buyers think that they're going to get a better deal because the listing agent then is not going to have to do a co-op for the buyer agent commission as agreed upon with the seller. But in most cases, the listing agent is then entitled to the full commission. This will of course depend on what the listing agreement shows with the seller and what their agreement is, but in the majority of cases, that's how it's going to work. Not to mention, the listing agent represents the seller. I'm sure you would never go to court and use the same lawyer as the opposing party. They are not going to be looking out for your best interests. Negotiations will always favor the seller if you are working with the listing agent because they already have an active listing agreement, which is a contract with the seller to represent them. Seek your own representation. Dual representation is legal in Virginia, but it is illegal in quite a few states, and there's a reason for that. I do not believe ethically that dual representation should be legal in any state. My next tip is use an experienced agent who knows your market. You are making a huge investment, and you need to be working with an agent who knows every detail about the market. It is an education and experience-based market. If you're working with an agent who one of many last year only sold one home, I can promise you they are not going to understand the current market enough in order to help you be successful. The market is moving quickly, it's extremely competitive, and you need an agent that can successfully guide you through that, who is already closing and selling homes in the current market condition. The other thing that I recommend is do your research before you hire an agent. You can look them up on the Virginia Professional and Occupational website, also known as DPOR. Check out how long they have been licensed, see if they're current on their continuing education, and also look in to see if they've ever had any complaints, what the complaints were, and what the outcome is. You need to have an agent who really has been in the market for some time, knows how to handle the current conditions, and then knows how to properly advise you so that you can make a decision that makes the most sense for you and your family. My next tip is one that I touched on briefly earlier. At a minimum, you have to get pre-approved. You are not even ready to shop for homes until you get pre-approved. And I don't mean pre-qualified. That is the absolute basic and all off of stated information. The next step up from that is pre-approved. At a bare minimum, you've got to have it. You're not going to be able to make an offer on a home if you don't have your pre-approval. You're not going to know what your budget is. You've got to have it. But in this market, you really need to be taking it a step further and get that TBD approval that I mentioned earlier. Have everything all lined up, have your loan already checked out by underwriting. You already know you're good to go. Not only is that more appealing to the sellers who are going to be reviewing your offer, but it also puts you in a position where you can safely waive your financing contingency because you know your loan is already approved, not just pre-approved. My last insider tip is give yourself a little extra runway in order to find a home. It is very common right now for home buyers to be losing out on 2 to 3 properties before they go under contract. Losing out, I just mean your offer wasn't the one that was chosen out of the pile of offers the seller had. You have to be prepared to give yourself a little bit more time because you might have to get up to bat a couple times before you go ahead and hit that home run and go under contract. It's just the market we're in. Even if your agent is working diligently to source off-market properties and you're touring properties that are in the MLS at the same time, it just can take a little bit longer. Not in every case, and it varies on price point and area, but in a lot of cases, buyers are needing a little bit more time in order to successfully go under contract, simply because you may have to make more than one offer in order to secure a home. So there you have it, my insider tips on how to be successful navigating the current Northern Virginia real estate market as a home buyer. I'm not gonna mince words. It is brutal out there. We don't have enough homes and buyers are buying, they are ready to go, and they are putting their best foot forward. So if you are serious about buying, my last little tidbit is you really need to understand the market that you're entering. And that goes to hiring the right agent who is going to educate you on the current market conditions. You might really learn about the details and decide, I don't want to be involved in all of this crazy bidding wars and everything else, so I'm just going to keep renting, living with family, whatever you're currently doing. But you might decide that yes, you do still want to buy. You are one of the many buyers out there who wants to go ahead and get in a home, make that long-term investment. You just need to know what to expect and be prepared. I'm gonna say that again, be prepared. You cannot enter this market unprepared. It will chew you up and spit you out. And I know that sounds harsh, but I don't wanna mince any words on this. This is a full-blown hot seller's market, and I don't see it slowing down anytime in the near future. The spring market started early this year. If you got some value from today's video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And until I see you on the next one, thanks for watching.